Hey everybody, this is Dan. I'm back to finish up a paint over I had started the other day before my live stream died. But yeah, so I'll be going here for a bit. And I don't have a ton more I want to do. There's a few things I want to tighten up though. So this was the original piece. I don't do environments often, so this was a little bit of a long one. But yeah, the elements that I was looking at, there's a ship, there's, what I read to be a floating island, I'm not entirely sure. This could be clouds coming down off the side, but I read it as some kind of edge. That's what it looked like to me, so I'm, rebuilding the piece to reflect those ideas a little bit more. So I'm gonna get going here and start working it up. If anyone has anything they'd like me to discuss, talk about, comment on whatever in the chat, feel free to post that. I'll take a look. But yeah. I should be back again tomorrow doing more crits. I'm not entirely sure what time, but I should be back. So, yeah. Just gonna set some values here and try and get a better idea of the space in the piece. I'm going to keep that pushed away. Not entirely sure. Yeah, I think I'm gonna. As far as I know, the paintings that I've been critiquing for ArtCamp don't have a centralized theme. I think they're just personal work that people have been doing. They might, though. I'm not sure. There's a thread for paintovers I started, so people can submit there. But some of them might be tied to weekly assignments, but a lot of them are just, personal work people want somebody to take a look at. So. So, you guys can probably tell I don't do environments too often. This is kind of weird for me, but I'm gonna try to do some stuff just to help the comp and the values and all that. One thing I'm gonna take a look at real quick. Been curious about lowering the ship, so I'm gonna try that real quick. See how it looks. And again, if anyone wasn't here earlier, I've got my my door open because it's a really nice night, so you might hear some boats, planes, human beings. Yeah, the list goes on. Zeppelins, yes. I don't think anything beats sketching on paper. Sketching on paper is a beautiful thing that I've been doing every day. Oh, can you hear my faucet? I'm sorry. I just made dinner. It took a while, that's why it took me so long to get back on here. It took longer than I thought. But, yeah. I did the dishes after, so my faucet might be dripping. We'll go shut it off in a minute. I tune it out. It's a leaky faucet. I don't even hear it anymore. I'm just playing right now. I don't think I'm gonna drop it. I think I kind of like it cropping off the canvas, but I'm willing to experiment. Yeah, I'm probably going to drop it even lower. I'm just going to keep playing for a minute. Either way, it's a bit of a tangent. I'm just trying to see which one I want to work with. I'm just playing. I'm not sure I'm going to keep any of the stuff I'm doing right now. I'm just experimenting. Unlike the previous crit, which was the orc guy, this is a piece that doesn't really have that much work done to it. So critiquing it is more like a how to complete the illustration thing rather than a, how to improve what you already have. Because in the beginning, there really wasn't any information here. An idea of an airship and an idea of an island, but I'm trying to turn that into something. Yeah, then it's a couple of weird angles, the balloon and the boat and stuff. I'm really just trying to figure out how I want to compose the illustration right now. This is like a crit like this is more general, like how to place the things, what to do with the composition, and after I get all that figured out, I can go into, is the sphere working correctly? Are the shapes reading right? I'm just trying to help this person find like a way to take their idea and compose it in a way that's going to make an effective illustration. Because they might not even want to paint a balloon like this. Like, I don't know. I have no idea. Like, their idea of an airship might not be my idea of an airship. I'm just trying to, like, generally get this on track for something, and then if they want to change everything later, they totally can. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep the ship down just because this kind of solves two problems I was having an issue with. So in the original paint over, I didn't like necessarily that it was cropping off. I mean, I kind of did. I liked that it was bringing us off the page and flying, but at the same time it was making this weird visual tangent where the shape of the airship was really hugging the corner of that island, and I don't know, something about keeping it off the canvas felt weirdly incomplete. This feels more like what they had in mind with their original illustration. I just gotta work it so it doesn't hug the top quite as much, which is the problem now, but we'll see what happens. paint a Zeppelin. This might already be the beginning of an animated film. Who knows? Who knows, Jekka? So yeah, if anyone wants to talk about anything in the chat, feel free, because otherwise it's going to be me being real quiet. But this won't go too much longer. I've already done a ton on this paint over, so I don't want to do too much, because then it's just my illustration and not theirs. And it's a fine line. It's a fine line you don't want to cross. So one thing, just in general, I probably put too many ribs in this blimp, but hey, you know. Hey, you know. Who hasn't? But for the sake of what I'm trying to show in this paint over, that is okay. Shorter crit like the waterfall one. Hey, I can't tell you how it's gonna happen, Dorothy. I crit them as they come out. If I keep seeing stuff to talk about, I'll keep talking about it. This was a relatively short one. I'd only put an hour in on this one, and I'm gonna end this very soon, so this is relatively short. But yeah, if you put stuff in for crit and I keep seeing things to talk about, I'm gonna keep talking about it. I can't help it. The paint over is not done till it's done. And that's up to the individual doing the paint over. But the nice thing about the format we're using here is that I can talk through all the decision making all the way through and record it so you have it. So if you want to stop at any point where you think the paint over has done what you think it should have achieved, you can stop the video there and keep going. If I go too far, you can stop me in advance. And if you don't want to listen, you don't have to, but it's all there. Which I like. I think it's a lot better than just having a JPEG and saying, here you go, it's better, do it. It's better to do it this way. Even if there's huge periods of crippling silence. Yeah, there's nothing worse than an uninterested paint over. I've seen those too, where the people doing them don't take the person seriously and they don't really go in depth. They just say things like, the anatomy, fix it. Or like, your values could use some work. And they don't really, you know, they'll cut some things out and just move them around. But like, I don't know. Those don't really help anyone. It's just like obvious, you know. It's like the whole art tip thing. Hashtag art tip. It's like, those are all useless. They're all common sense. It's like, that's not a critique. That's a dismissal. Anatomy is something you should work on every day. Hashtag art tip. It's like, no, that's not a tip. That's like, food is consumed for energy. Life tip. It's like, no, it's just, everyone already knows that. Like, stop. Stop treating that like it's advice. Yeah, you gotta like, I don't know. A good paint over is when you push it to really like address all the problems in the piece. Don't finish it for them, but show them how you would finish it if you were going to. Get them right to that point where the only thing left is rendering things out. Because, you know, rendering is rendering. After all the big decisions have been made, it's rendering time. Get them right to that point where it's ready to go to finish. Or to the point where they see a new way to complete it that they might not have beforehand. And that's when I think the paint over should conclude. Right at that point where, oh, okay, now all I have to do is actually go in and finish it. All the placement, all the material and the value and whatever else is pretty close to done. Now all we got to do is go in and actually complete the piece. Well, that's why I'm recording it, Dorothy. You can stop at any time, but you know, there's problems in the detail phase you might not know you have that you don't have in the general phase. That's why I don't crit sketches. I refuse to crit sketches because a sketch is just a quick thing. It's just an idea. It's not any execution. It doesn't show, you know, the limitations of your skills. To accurately critique somebody and, like, you know, really address the problems they might be having painting an image, you need to know what they're bad at. And the only way to know what they're bad at is to see work that's at least a considerable way through development. And the only way to show them how to push through those problems is to take it even further through that development. It's like, okay, you're getting a roadblock here. This is how you get around the roadblock, and this is how you keep going so you don't hit another one. But I mean, it's not for everybody, I get that, but yeah. Just because someone on a paint over can show you how to take a piece from a 5 to an 8 doesn't mean that it's not your painting anymore. It's just suggestions. You don't have to do the things I'm saying to do. You don't have to do exactly the stuff I'm doing. Their design for this airship might be completely different, but they'll still understand that the values need to be darker in the front and things need to be washed out in the back. They'll still understand that the composition needs to be based on thirds. They'll still understand that, you know, this piece shouldn't tangent with the island like it was in the beginning. The airship shouldn't be, you know, touching it. You know, it's like a 70-30 thing. Take the best 70% of the crits that work for you, that still let the image be yours, and dismiss the 30 that don't. They might not want the island to look that way. They might not like what I did with the clouds, but, you know, a good percentage of this is going to translate over and make whatever version of this they do next a better version. Because, you know, it's all, a lot of the paint over is rooted in fundamentals like composition and lighting, and that's the stuff that you can't really go, well, you know, I disagree with that, because you have to have that. That's the stuff that makes the piece the piece. That's what makes this feel like it's in an actual environment. No, I'm not using a normal round brush. I'm using a chalk brush. It's an elliptical. I just like it because it has a little bit of grain to it. So now I'm going to go look at the original and see if there's anything else I can pull into this that makes it more of what the original vision was for this piece. And then after that, I'm probably going to be done. So, let's take a look. If I remember correctly, there were birds in the original that I'm probably going to bring back. So, yeah, there we go. Birds. I knew there were birds. Let's bring them back. I'm just going to imply them because it's just a paint over. I'm not going to zoom in and get some accurate bird anatomy. I'm just going to do swoops. I mean, I don't think this is necessary, so I'm not going to keep it going too far. But if you wanted to put some birds in the front to really shoot the space forward, you could do this kind of thing if you wanted to, but you don't have to. So I'm going to delete it. We'll keep the ones in the back. Hey, Shoot Thief. Good to see you. Did, who was it? Was it Wretched who couldn't hear me? Who had like a driver problem earlier? Did he resolve that? She resolve that? I'm gonna assume it's a he. Did that get fixed? 'Cause that was really weird. Okay. Did you fix it? I'm assuming, since you can hear me now. What was the problem? It was something to do with the Dean Koontz ad. I checked the other streams and it was the only one that was causing issues. That's really, really random. Wow. Okay. Well, now we know. Everybody avoid the Dean Koontz ad. Is that considered it's a tangent, not a tension? With the line line of the Zeppelin middle. Do you mean this? I'm not sure what you're talking about. It kind of is. I might knock it back a little bit, but this line and this line are doing slightly different things. They're not like parallel. But that rim light that's catching on those hills isn't necessary anymore because I pushed the island back, so it's okay to kind of get rid of it. But yeah, there's a little too much data down here anyway, because it's like I really pushed it back with that overlay layer to like wash it out and push the airship forward. So all this can kind of go. Do I want any other? Sorry, I'm just looking at my mashed potato clouds and trying to figure out if I want to do anything significant to them before I wrap this up. Yeah, let's see. Okay. I could keep going on this and like define the island and define the ship and do all that stuff, but I feel like for the purposes of where this person started to where they need to go, all the major stuff in the paintover is probably done. The performance issues running windowed? What do you mean windowed? Just having Photoshop floating? I'm on a Mac, so this is the default Photoshop setting. I don't know. I don't know if it affects issues or whatever. This is just default. I don't think I've noticed any. No, this is the default. I mean, live stream in general slows my computer down like crazy because it's live stream, but it always has and it always will. The first day I had this computer, I put live stream on it and it was slow, so I mean, it's just live stream's just a program that takes a lot of RAM. Yeah, I work with everything I do is 300 DPI. Not for the paintovers, but because these are low res off the forum, but everything I do professionally is at least 300 DPI. I've had to do jobs that go over that before, which is ridiculous, but yep. Yeah, you probably need more RAM. If it's a relatively new computer and 300 DPI files are crushing you, you definitely need more RAM. I would recommend at least 8, optimally 16 or 32. You can run Photoshop and get work done with 8, but really you want 16. 16 is really kind of like bare bones for doing any kind of serious size file. So your Photoshop's not chugging like crazy. Oh, I only have 4? Yeah, you need to get some RAM, dude. That's why. I had 8 in this one for a long time, and when I got the Transformers 4 job, there was no way I could do those. Those were like 15,000 high by something else at like 350 DPI or some shit. It was terrible. So I had to upgrade this to. Unfortunately, this model iMac only takes 16. The newer ones go up to 32, but mine's a 2011, so it's right before they switched, and unfortunately, it'll only take 16. So it's maxed out right now until I get another one. But yeah, if you can get 32, go 32, because why not? It just means that everything Photoshop's going to do goes faster, which really helps when you're using big custom brushes that have a lot of texture, because those like to crash your Photoshop sometimes. Or just make everything freeze for 10 minutes and then a big brush stroke just awkwardly goes across. I don't know if everybody here is from artcamp. These are artcamp paintovers, though, that I'm doing. I have no idea if everyone in here is from it or not. Who are you asking, Jekka? I mean, my only real goal with art right now is to get better. I can't speak for the students that are in here. I've got a job, I'm self-sustaining. I really enjoy the work I'm doing. I get to teach, and I get to travel, and I get to work on stuff and paint, and the only problem I have is that I'd like my skill set to be a bit better, so I'm just working all the time, trying to do that when I can in my free time. But yeah, that's, I'm a working, I hate the term professional. I hate it. It's my profession. I don't feel like I'm a professional. I've got a long way to go skill wise, but yeah, it's a good profession to have. It's pretty cool. But yeah, so I'm on the road for my goal. I just need to do some more focused study and stop doing all the freelance I've been doing. But yeah, trying to do that. It's getting easier. I can't speak for any of the students in here though. The question is, what do you want to do with art, or what do you hope to achieve with art? Ultimate goal is creating personal IPs and developing that kind of stuff, and just making my own stuff, but not there yet. Someday soon, hopefully. So yeah, this is getting at the point where it's already starting to happen. I'm seeing it happen, so I'm going to stop. The more I push this into looking done, the more certain parts are going to look more finished than other parts, which is going to make me want to fix those, and slowly I'm going to start fixing all the issues with my paint over and turn it into a finished painting. And I don't want to do that, because that's not the point, and it's going to take forever if I do, so it's time for me to call it quits with this one. I have done enough, and I'm going to get off of here. So, this is part 2 of this. Part 1 is already on the forum. I'll upload this with that and the before and after. And as always, let me click a before and after real quick right now and take a look at what this was and where it came. Talk about the big stuff to keep in mind as you go forward with it if you are watching this person who painted this. Okay, so again, just trying to really fix the comp on this one. That was the big goal. But yeah. Okay, let me duplicate the background and merge visible and before, after. Let me zoom out. So, things to keep in mind, just placing things in good places compositionally, balancing your colors, making sure that the values read so the thing in front is really, really in front, and yeah, good luck finishing it. I'd love to see it when it's done, so feel free to post it in the artcamp forums and I'll check it out. Thanks for coming, everybody. I've been doing a lot of paintovers tonight, so I'm going to stop. I've been doing like 4 hours of paintover straight. But yeah, I'll see you guys on here, I think, tomorrow for another round, because I'm due. But yeah, have a good night. Good luck. Enjoy painting.